Did you know that 1 in 5 Canadians will face addiction at some time in their life? 3 million accident-free miles.
Yes.
I mean, that's to be respected and proud of. Up to 65% will relapse after their first attempt at treatment.
I would cry out to God, like, I don't want to do this anymore.
We're asking God to broaden our borders and to make our name known, not for our sake, but Julie and I.
And I think I was just looking for love all the time, and I never felt that I had it. And they took me by ambulance to emergency because they couldn't get my blood pressure down. I respected myself, and I knew that what I was doing was right. I wasn't engaging and stuff like that. A lot of guys told me that I was very snobbish for that till I was 2 years old, and then my mother took her own life.
Did you know that 1 in 5 Canadians will face addiction at some time in their life? And in the US, nearly 1 in 10 adults struggle with the alcohol use disorder, and up to 65% will relapse after their first attempt at treatment. Today, you're going to meet Louise Twardowski, or to me, Great Aunt Lou, who has beat those odds, has more than 3 million miles as a truck driver, deals with MS, cancer survivor, COPD, and a story more, but living in victory because of what Christ has done for her. And welcome to the SwagAbility Show, where our desire is to see you thrive wherever life finds you. And we're going to encourage you today to either get help or to get this into someone's hands that needs help, because there is victory over this, whether it's disability you're having struggled with or disability and addiction. There's hope for you. Lou, thanks for doing this.
Thanks for having me.
Let's start pre-meeting us. And you had it was 3 million accident-free miles. Tell us maybe two things. Before you got into the trucking industry, tell me your early years, if you will, what they were like growing up. Give us a little bit of your background, and then I want to know a little bit about the trucking industry with women in it, and we'll move it down further into your story after that. So, Lou, younger years.
Lou, younger years. Well, I had pretty much a normal upbringing until I was 2 years old, and then my mother took her own life.
At 2?
I was 2 years old, yeah. And I've always had an issue with goodbyes, and now I realize she probably said goodbye and I never saw her again. So then we went and we moved in with an aunt and uncle, and I felt loved. I felt, she was my ma. And then my dad, anyways, my uncle and my dad had a terrible fight. And my dad said that Louise and I will be gone by the end of the month. So he bought a farm, and he brought my grandfather to live with us. And my grandfather molested me. But by the grace of God, now I realize God was always in the picture, because my grandfather left for other reasons. Okay. And then my father molested me, and it was only once, but he.
At what age?
I was 9.
At this time it was 9.
Yeah.
And you knew something was wrong.
I knew something was wrong. Like, I mean, and like my dad, from one day to the next, he was my hero, and he was somebody that I was petrified of, because I knew it wasn't right, but I didn't know. I didn't want to tell nobody.
And the grandfather at 9, did your father know of the grand? So you kept that to yourself?
Yes.
So, yeah, nothing was done there. And then And then for no reason at all, it's not like that had been a pattern since you were 2. Just at
Uh,
9 years old, he took it upon himself to molest you at that age.
yes.
Mm. So what does that do to a 9-year-old, and how do you deal with that through school and to your adult years? Like, what does 9 till your adult years look like? And yeah, what does the adult Louise look like because of this?
Well, it wasn't good. Like, I ran all the time. I went to work. I took a year off school to go work as a nanny in Toronto for a prominent official, and because I wanted to get away, and I think I was just looking for love all the time, and I never felt that I had it. I
Mm.
was always told not to bother people, and um you don't have to tell them anything, you don't have to. So I mean, like this, I kept this right, like buried inside,
Mm. Until
until I discovered alcohol,
mm.
and that was at a very young age.
When do you think you took your first drink, and did you consider it social drinking at the time?
Yes, I had no idea it was. I was given a glass of Cinzano, okay, which is a before dinner drink, and I still remember, like, I drank that down like it was water, and I asked for another one,
Mm.
and anyways, this person said, well, you're not supposed to drink it that fast, but I truly believe that the seed was planted right then, you know.
And at what age are you thinking was your first drink,
I was
roughly?
15, I think.
Wow.
Yeah.
So as a teenager, your first experience with alcohol, did it become something you sought regularly after that, or it was something that you could take it or leave, or was it the seed that later was planted that you went to because you remember how you felt at 15, maybe?
Yeah, because I could feel like I was,
You were different, relaxed.
yeah, relaxed. And I remember we were having people over at the house.
Yeah.
And when I went to Toronto, this was common also, like just before supper, we'd go to
Mhm.
I don't know what he called it, the lounge or whatever in his house. And we would all have a drink together, so that's how it started. Uh, but even then, at the time, I could take it or leave it. It wasn't anything that,
During those years, this happened at 9, the abuse. Um, did it ever come to your mind in those years, or were you someone that tried to keep yourself busy, or like you said, on the move? When do you think, when did the abuse that had
I think
happened?
it always did. And I think um, I let it happen, because you get to a point in your life that you think that's all I'm good for. I mean, I'm not proud of the choices I made,
Hmm.
but yeah, to become a truck driver, uh, I mean, I sold my body for driving experience. I mean, it's sad to say, but
What
it
years was this? The 80s?
this was 1985.
So you're in the 80s.
Yeah.
So there's no Me Too movement yet for women or anything like
No,
that. So
no.
it was a man dominated industry, probably still
It
is,
still is.
but there's women in it.
Yes.
What does that look like? A man's trade, you know, dominated by men, and often thought of a man would be a trucker. How are women? Uh, are they accepted into it? Are they used for overnight stopovers? Is there a lot of sexual offers or jokes at the expense of the women?
Oh, yes, and I don't think that'll ever change.
Mm.
Like, at the end of my driving years, I really didn't care anymore because, you know, I respected myself. Okay, it took me all those years, but I respected myself, and I knew that what I was doing was right. I wasn't engaging and stuff like that. A lot of guys told me that I was very snobbish or that because you put on a mask, and that's what I did my whole life is I had a mask. And now I realize that I went into the trucking industry too. Yes, of course, because I wanted to drive a truck, but I wanted the attention. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. It just felt like, wow, like everybody's congratulating me. Everybody's, and then we'd go to bars and we'd go to, and this was like, oh yeah, she's one of us, and I mean, I'm not proud of that to say that, but I learned to drive a truck with a case of beer between the seats.
Mm.
And then, you know,
And that was probably commonplace
yes, in those days,
before
yes.
cameras
Yeah.
were in the trucks.
Yeah.
And an amazing career, though, like 3 million accident-free miles.
Yes.
I mean, that's to be respected and proud of. I know we whizzed through so many years before we've met, and I want to focus on that. But when did you notice, or did you notice the alcohol consumption either creeping up or becoming more regular, cigarettes, things like that? Is it during the trucking years? And is it when you've got that many miles on the road with your mind, is there a lot of time to think? And if so, does some of this stuff creep up while you're thinking?
It does, it does creep up. Like I was lucky, like um, I had discovered podcasts, and stuff like that. So, uh, I would listen to that a lot. But yeah, that's an issue with truck drivers. I mean, you have too much time to think. And, it's, yeah, it's sad. It's if you don't get help, and that's why a lot of the truck drivers, they do resort to alcohol, you
Mhm.
know. Um, and like me, I knew of God. Okay. I knew that he was always with me in the truck. Like, I had my safety vest and that was my God, like on my seat. But I didn't know, I guess I felt ashamed, because I didn't know. I didn't know I could have a relationship with him, first of all.
Mm.
And second of all, like I said, why would he want me? Because
Mm.
I'm no good for nothing,
Yeah. You were trucking for a local company in our area of Canada. And take us to the point um, where we enter your life. Not that we're saviors, we're certainly not your savior, but you enter our lives, and then we'll go through what those changes were like, health and everything like that. You were still trucking, and little did you know, SwagAbility existed next door. And yeah, take us through that part of our connection to the beginning of Great Aunt Lou. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I decided I wanted a dog. I wanted a dog very badly. So I moved to an apartment across the road, and I did get myself a rescue dog.
Mm.
And like I get very emotional because it was very uh and see, I was drinking at the time. So every time I would try to change something, it was that, okay, this is it. This is it. This is it. I'm going to be okay.
Becau- because deep down you knew it was
Oh,
problematic.
it was a problem.
Yeah.
I mean,
Mm.
when you work a shift that you have to get up at 2:30 in the morning, and I would force myself like to go to bed at 6, but if somebody would call me, I'd start drinking again. I mean, yeah,
And that,
it's
an eating disorder
and
on
an eating disorder on
top of
top of
that.
that. So I mean, yeah, I don't know. there was many times like I would cry out to God, like, I
Mhm.
don't want to do this anymore. I don't want to drive a truck anymore. I
Mhm.
don't want to, but I was used to routine. I had been doing it for like, I don't know, 25, 27 years.
Mm.
So change,
Structure.
yeah,
Mm.
change. And how would I support my addiction?
I never thought of that. Yeah. Yeah, it would be expensive. Um, hmm,
Because we're talking smoking addiction, we're talking drinking addiction, and food addiction.
yeah, purging would be expensive. I
S-
never thought it through that way. I remember hearing about you, um, after a meeting, but, I think it was Julie. If not if I'm not mistaken, that made first connection, or if it wasn't Julie, it was one of our four-legged friends. I don't know what dog it was, but, take us through that, if you will, our
Okay.
SwagAbility, and we entered your life.
Yeah, that was I mean that for me was I knew I had Angel outside, and so afraid that she'd get hurt. I mean, I had put her on a lead, I mean, where's she going to go? She's 4 weeks old,
Mm,
and I always walk with my head down so that I don't stumble because of the
the
MS,
MS. Mm,
and then I saw Charlie, like I just saw a chocolate lab and I was there,
my
oh, like watch it, because
my
she's
service
very
dog.
smart. And
Yeah.
then, so, anyways, I saw Angel and Charlie, and then I turned around and I saw a pair of green rubber boots.
Mm,
And when I lifted my head, I saw the face of an angel. And I knew, I didn't know how,
mm,
but I knew right then that my life was going to change. Like and I was afraid of that. I
mm.
said, oh boy, like they can't know. They can't know, that I don't want them to know me that well. And yeah, that's where it started changing.
I remember I had a side by side, and I would often try and get out in the winter and around there. And I always remember seeing someone in an orange vest shoveling snow. And I would say to my wife, "We've got to meet. I think there's a new neighbor." There was always a truck driver, it seemed like, in that apartment. But yeah. And so I think she did come back and said, she's a really nice lady. She lives there alone. She's got a dog, tiny thing. And she said, I think because of the dog, we might have an in. And so an in to people, Christians, is like an, aha, we're going to pounce. Now, we have a heart for seeing people like our motto says, thrive wherever life finds them. And um, outside of a relationship with God, I think always be a Bible says a chasing after the wind.
Hmm.
And so I remember you coming over, for quick little visits and things like that, and walks. And um, uh, I don't quite remember, and maybe you do, how the subject of alcohol um, became a main concern for us. Um, and or maybe you started attending. I was still pastoring at the time. SwagAbility wasn't a full time thing, and so do you remember how we've got either onto the topic of alcohol? Maybe it came through. Maybe it came from. I don't know. I don't want to put words in your mouth. As we started to study the Bible more, you started to attend church
Yes.
where I was pastoring, and getting more comfortable over here. So there must have been a part of you that wanted to talk about it, because I remember we become quite comfortable
Yeah.
talking about it. You wanted accountability and things like that. We didn't know how much of a problem it was, but um, boy, even though it's probably under 7 years ago, it's all a blur. Um, what do you remember about those early years on them walks? Lots of walks up the hill with the dog, time over here. And I guess it got to a place where um, we were so concerned for you, and you being concerned for yourself, that you moved over here with
Yeah.
us.
Yeah.
And where our very studio is
Yeah.
now, which is kind of cool. I think about it now. SwagAbility headquarters studio
Yeah.
was your room for about a year, until I think you realized that your alcohol addiction was harming you, your MS, all those things, and it was getting ahead of you. And that's when the subject of Teen Challenge, I think, came up. And we knew that they had a great a success rate compared to what the world has.
Mm.
But I remember you being all over the internet searching them like it was you were very dogged at, I think I need that program. And I don't think we knew the extent of your drinking at that point. I think I remember you saying to me, I don't want to lie to my friends. I
Yeah.
don't want to lie to the people that love
Yeah.
me. And I guess that's where addiction really is. This isn't part of any of our scripted questions that came to me, but would you say what are signs that people listening right now should watch for or check their life to know if they're a social user or that they're facing addictions? What type of things do you hide, or what type of things that you do in your life um, to make you think that, or the light go on that, wait a second, I've got something that's way out of control?
Well, I think for me, it was the isolation. It was the isolation and the working.
Mm.
Work and isolation, work and isolation. I didn't want to go anywhere. Like, don't call me after 2 o'clock, like to go anywhere, because I wouldn't go, you
Yeah.
know. Um, and like I've known for many years, like I would say it even started in the late 80s,
Mm.
uh when I was married, that yeah, alcohol was a big part of my life,
Mm.
and but it still wasn't an issue. It I remember, yes, I had told you guys, because I was talking to Julie and I said, yeah, I said, I think like I drink too much, you know. I said, I'll be honest that way, like, and you never think that you're hurting other people. That's
Mm.
the thing. I thought, I live alone, I've got my pets,
Mm.
I'm not hurting nobody, and yes, alcohol seems to be an accepted, everywhere you go.
Yeah, sure does.
And
Yeah.
it's available now in truck stops. It's like that, really.
Grocery stores.
Grocery stores,
Yeah.
I mean, and it will kill you, and you had mentioned in 2018, I think it was, or 19, about Teen Challenge.
Yeah.
And I said, give your head a shake, Steve. At the time I was 58 years old or whatever,
True.
and yeah, and when I really hit rock bottom is when, well, they took my trucker's license November 23rd
Because you're a mess.
because of my MS.
Mhm.
And then my dog Angel died. I had issues. Julie drove me to St. John for back issues. Um,
Life was unraveling.
oh, yeah. I mean, my cat died, my rabbit died. Everything was
It's
just going,
dying. Mhm.
and that's when I noticed I would, because I knew that you guys could see me coming, like when I'd get home, and I'd always bring a big bag, and what I was doing at the end, I mean, this is how you see you're in trouble.
Mm.
I used to drink like 1 4 liter a week,
Okay.
but I said, if I go twice and
Mm.
then they catch me the second time, they see me, so I would go and buy 2 4 liters.
Mm,
and people were there. Oh, you're not, that's what you want to hear. Oh, you're not an alcoholic. You still have a bottle of wine in your fridge. Yes, little did they know I had some hidden in the house that I would pour. I knew. And my eating disorder, it was, I would, and this, I know some people are going to find this disgusting, but it's the truth. I stopped drinking white wine. I would drink red wine. Then I would eat the stuff that in my mind, I wasn't allowed to eat. And then I would purge. So with the red wine, when there was no more red coming out, I knew that I had purged. And I lived like that for a long time. Till one day I was in the bathroom, and and like I say, I didn't have a personal relationship with God yet at that time, but I said, Lord, I can't do this anymore. And I remember I never purged since. And that was March of 2020.
and people say miracles still aren't happening. To go from something you've done all your life to be able to quit it without any major ramifications happening to your body. Yeah. You were here about a year, I think, and we'd got to a point, Julie and I at SwagAbility, where it was further than pastoring skills and could take you. And you needed, I think, professional help. People that had been around it. I was very naive to everything. And we applied to a program called Teen Challenge. And even though it has the word teen in front of it, that was the original thing. Was for young people, and still in the States there is. Here in Canada, it's a wide range. You can give me the years, but I think the oldest person that had ever entered it was in their late 60s or 70s.
78.
For a man.
Yeah.
And I think, if I'm not mistaken, you're probably one of the eldest ladies that have successfully got treatment for alcoholism, cigarettes, any addictions. Addictions that control people's life. And they, biblically, with a biblical worldview, help people out of that situation. You graduated the program in
July of 23. July 11th, 2023.
And that was after you had done an extra phase?
Yeah, I had done a phase 4. And then I started a phase 5, which is, it's another phase that can lead to employment if there is a need. And there was.
Yeah. I mean, remarkable. Like, for people that are in their 30s, 40s, 50s that say there's no hope, I can't get by this. That's a lie.
That's a lie.
That's
there
a lie
is hope.
from the pit of hell. At 61,
yes,
you changed your life. And I mean, I'm watching from a distance now, a couple provinces over, but seeing, I always told you that God has a plan for your life. And you made a profession of faith, and accepted Christ as your Savior back here. And I think that's when you recognized it. Yes, it was addiction, but it was even more so addiction. It was a sin.
Yes.
Lying and that have you. And you didn't want that in your life. And I look now, and to me, it's nothing short of a miracle. Yes, it's a program nonetheless, but you went there, drew your last drag on a cigarette before you go in the door. Years of harm all of a sudden turn into years of help, because you've got a wisdom now of lived years, 60 plus years now, and now working for the program. I'm unbelievably proud of you for that. And I think this is the tip of what God's got for you. Now, there were some rough patches along the road.
Yes.
Let's talk a little bit about those. We've got a few minutes. you got there and you weren't feeling well, you were tired, your MS was flaring up a lot, but on top of MS, fighting that as a disability, you had a run-in with we don't even say the word, we just call it the big C
Yeah.
cancer. Tell us a little bit about that.
That was it's see, again, God had his hand in this,
Mm,
because I went to emergency because of a flare up. Like, my blood pressure was sky high, and so I was at another at my eating disorder place, and they took me by ambulance to emergency because they couldn't get my blood pressure down.
mm,
And the doctor who examined me, he was saying, like, well, it's MS, blah 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 blah. The next day or a week after, he called, and like, you have to be, we're not allowed to have phones and that. So Elizabeth was there, and this doctor from emergency is saying, says, we found something on your lung, and there, oh yeah, I said, I know, it's dry at the bottom. And he kind of chuckled. He says, no, no, he says, this is wet, and he says, I would like you to go for a CAT scan. And I got my CAT scan on December 21st.
mm.
And the lady, the technician, I was there. Well, I said, I'll have the results next year because it was Christmas time, She says, oh no, you're going to have them like real soon. And I said, geez, she's not in a good mood this morning. And the next day I found out that I had lung cancer.
Because to be quite honest, the Canadian health system, you can fall between the cracks quite easily here. You don't have a doctor, you have a nurse practitioner, and if they're quite honest, if their secretary's in a moody thing, you don't see the doctor. It's just you can fall through the cracks really easy in Canada. I think that's a miracle that not only were you at a place where you had the help for the alcoholism and that, but all of a sudden you're surrounded with professionals
Yeah.
in a place that we think, oh, Newfoundland, we laugh at them,
Yeah.
whatever, but there's a very advanced medicine in that province. And for you to get your treatment and you had surgery.
I had the surgery on March the 1st.
Mm,
And everybody was there. Oh, it's awful. You're in the hospital, for your birthday. So this is the best birthday present I can ask for.
you're giving your
Uh,
life back.
yeah, because God, every time I was getting discouraged or I wanted to leave,
Mm,
I said, I can't take this no more, like, I just want, he would always put something into place, and I'd say, okay, Lord, I get it. I
mm.
get it. And so, yeah, he's been there every step of the way. And like, it's by his grace that I'm still alive, so I know he has purpose for me.
He does. I've known that since day one when we met you. Um, let's just take the final few minutes and talk to the person out there that's listening that says I don't think I could do what she did. She's one in, she's just one in a million that happened to get lucky. Um, talk to them about that and where they can find hope, what they need to do to get the hope, and then we'll let them know also what SwagAbility is there for. So, yeah, what are your thoughts for the person that's listening right now, man, woman, boy, girl, or whatever?
Yeah, it
Let
doesn't
them know.
matter, because I've given my testimony many times, and a lot of times people will come to me, like women mostly, and say, like, uh, "There's no hope," and
Yeah.
I said, "Yes, there's hope. It's in God,
Mhm.
and you have to ask for the help." Okay, uh,
Humbling.
it's very humbling, and it's not, like they say, there's somebody that said, like Teen Challenge. It wasn't called Teen Easy, because it's a hard program. It's a year program, but it's proven that it works. Any other secular
Mhm.
um treatment, it's 30 days and then you're on your own.
We read it 60%. Um, uh, what's that word? Relapse after the first year of treatment. We'll put the statistics in the show notes and in the credits at the end. But yeah, you're right. It started first with a change in the inside, right?
Yes.
You realize it's a sin, right?
Yeah.
And sin separates you from a holy God, and that when you commit your life to Christ, the Bible says the old things are passed away, and behold, all things become new.
New. Yeah.
Not just some things; all things become new. And I remember coming to visit you after you completing the program, and seeing you now, even after you've been there working. Uh, I look at you because you were worried about your eating and this, and I look and I see a younger, um, beautiful person, inside and out. I knew your temper. I knew I saw those things. I mean, I know my temper. I know my things, but from the inside out, top to bottom, God has completely renovated and changed you, and you are precious. And I think your story is just starting to be written. You may be 60, 61, and I know you want years back. We all do.
Yeah.
But I think your story is just starting to be written. And maybe it will be the next person that hears this. Um, it'll be, I heard the lady on the radio. I heard the lady on the podcast. Um, yeah.
Because with God, all things are possible, but you have to reach out. And that's why I don't agree. Like they're talking about forcing people to go to recovery. That it's not going to work. It's not going to work. You know, and like I say, it's because of God that I'm alive. And because, like I say, every time something would, I'd say, oh no, I can't do this anymore. He'd put something in my path, and I'd say, okay, I get it.
Because we tried, right?
Yes,
We
I
tried
know.
many times, but it was, I think you needed to go to a spot where it scared you that you were starting to lie to the two people
Yes,
that
yes.
loved you, and to SwagAbility that was here to give you everything. And then your conscience, I think, was so pricked that I need to get it into that program. And that's a miracle in itself, because if it weren't for the grace and the persistence of a secretary that was doing intake,
Yes, yes.
and she's a beautiful woman, that I'm sure will be a lifelong friend. I will say this to those of you who are watching: we don't often classify ourselves as a religious organization because that scares people away. But SwagAbility is very much a gospel run program. My wife and I are born again believers, and our desire is to please God in all that we do and say, and to offer hope to anyone that we can. And if you're out there and you're dealing with anything from it's some kind of addiction, whether it's pornography, whether it's some sort of vice in the terms of a drug or alcohol, or running on empty and you need encouragement, SwagAbility is here because we love you. We want the best for you. And we're asking God to broaden our borders and to make our name known, not for our sake of Julie and I, but so that there's others that can be encouraged by a podcast like this. So if you do us a big favor, would you share this episode with someone that you love and you care for? Or if would you post this on your social media? Would you subscribe to our YouTube channel? And visit us at swagability.com, join our mailing list. And if God places it on your heart to help us fund this, my wife and I are carrying this right now. But if you would be one that wants to help us, there's a place there as well to donate. But like we say at SwagAbility, our desire is to thrive where life finds you. May God bless you, keep you, make his face shine upon you, and thrive, friends, where life finds you. Until next time, Swags out.